Greetings everyone and welcome to another exciting session of the series. Now previously we saw that Eugene, the Director of Customer Success Division at Contoso Consumer Division or CCD, has explored and made the necessary configurations to set up unified routing in Dynamics 365 customer service for her team. Now, welcome today to the quarterly review meeting of Customer Success team at CCD. It is an important day for Eugene as she is very excited to use this time with her team for listening and sharing ideas. She is looking forward to announce the adoption of Dynamics 365 Unified Routing in her team and how they could benefit from the same. Some of the team members have joined in early to exchange pleasantries. Let's catch up with them inside. Now, meanwhile, Sarah and Kyle from Eugene's team, they happen to connect in lobby before the meeting. Now, Sarah is a senior customer experience agent, while Kyle has joined their team just a few months back. So let's listen into their conversation. Well, hi Kyle, all set for the meeting today? Asked Sarah. Hi Sarah. Well, I don't know. I'm quite nervous today, said Kyle. Why? What happened? Would you like to share with me? On that, Kyle replied that he feels his scores on turnaround time for the tickets, transfer rates, or SLA compliance might not be very great this year. Oh dear, CCD takes their customer satisfaction very sincerely. But I'm sure if you would share the reasons and challenges behind it, Eugene will be able to guide you appropriately. Any specific reasons that you see though? Asked Sarah. After some introspection, Kyle replied, well, yes, as I'm not, uh, very senior in this organization and I am on a learning journey in CCD, sometimes I had to transfer my cases to seniors for better resolution. However, I kept the customers informed at every point and liaised with the senior agents to expedite the resolution. But I also noticed sometimes I was assigned cases for payments and refunds as well, which I had to transfer to appropriate departments, possibly because I look into queries for customer orders, and that's why they came my way. I was also on leave last week, and Carlos was very kind to handle my cases in the meantime, which I had assigned to him before leaving, said Kyle. I see. Well, I think these are quite common and valid scenarios, Kyle, and we should share these with Eugene. Don't worry. Besides, I have heard Eugene has some news to share as well for a new agent and supervisor experience in our Dynamics 365 customer service. So let's get tracking. See you in the meeting. Well, thanks a lot, Sarah. Bye-bye, said Kyle. And both of them joined the meeting with others. Now, in the meeting room, currently Eugene's team is discussing the concerns around incorrect assignments, leave, and time offs, and how to handle the cases at that time while keeping their, KPIs in a good shape. The high transfer rates that they are seeing and high turnaround time from the agents, as well as how it is impacting higher operating costs, low customer satisfaction, etc. Well, almost immediately, Eugene smiled to herself as she could see how Dynamics 365 Unified Routing was a single answer to all those concerns. Dynamics 365 Unified Routing assigns the work to best suited agents by taking into account their skills, capacity, availability, like their working hours, leaves, time offs, etc., their proficiency to solve a particular matter, and the built-in intelligence, and hence it can solve for the other problems that they are discussing. Especially, we will be discussing about skills and proficiency in this particular agenda. So let's take a glance at her meeting agenda. The first one is to understand the skills in the context of unified routing. We'll also see a demo of how to set these skills up in Dynamics 365. We will see about how to set up a rating model for proficiency of the users, how the assignment of skills to the users works. So how do we attach skills to a user? What is the difference between manual skills classification and intelligent skills finder model? And while we have set up everything for the agents, can agents actually contribute to the skills enrichment as well? We will answer for that. And finally, we will talk about skills matching methods with some of the examples. Right. So to start with, what are skills, right? And it may sound very simplistic, but it is important to understand skills in the context of unified routing so that when we are actually interacting with the customers, we can visualize what sort of skills can be helpful for them in their business scenarios, etc. So let's have a look at that. According to Webster, skills is the ability to use one's knowledge effectively and readily in execution or performance. It is the dexterity and competency with which you can perform a particular task. It can be a learned or acquired aptitude or ability, right, to perform something. So for example, it can be a language skills or it can be a technical skill as well. Now, some of the themes around which skills can be based out of would be either product based. So for example, in Contoso consumer division, we have various products. We have espresso machines, we have coffee makers, we have grinders, beans, so on and so forth. This can be one classification. The second can be service based. It can be the services offered. It can be horizontals as well. For example, payments, orders, shipments, inquiries, bookings, cancellations, etc. There can be soft skills based as well. So for example, we often hear customers want to speak to the higher or senior staff, right, in their engagements, etc. So any agent who is skilled into handling escalations or handling customer conversations, having analytics capabilities, etc. So all those would come in handy and they can be marked as skills for the agents as well. It can be preference based. If a particular customer prefers agents from a particular location or in a region or for language, all these can be customer preference based skills that agent can acquire. It can be location based. It can be territories, region, countries, etc. for a particular agent. And if they serve in a particular area and a query comes from a customer in that area, probably they can handle it better in that region. It can be experience based. So as I said, for example, there is a senior agent who is well experienced into handling certain kind of customer situations. They can come in, picture, they can step in and ensure that a customer has a better experience. Similarly, there can be certifications, there can be compliance and guidelines that an agent should comply with before stepping into a customer engagement. Typical example of that would be the advisories or audit scenarios, wherein if you are engaging into a particular audit activity, you should be compliant with certain certificates, etc. So that was one example. Now, not just these themes, anything in between, any custom skills that suits a customer business scenario that you can think of is required to classify a case and assign to a particular agent. That would be a skill for you in that scenario. Let's take some more examples. So let us say in ITES industry, skills can be based on programming languages. It could be Java, Python, .NET, etc. It could be the skills around technical architecture, solution design, etc. It can be cross-cloud architecture and designs. It could be feature related as well. For example, right now we are engaging with with the product managers for different features in unified routing, across the product group. So feature-based skills can also be assigned to a particular agent. Now, let us take airline industry, right? So there could be services around bookings and cancellations, flight inquiry. It could be as technical as somebody with expertise into hydraulics, pneumatics, physics, etc. It can be vendor management. So there are a lot of third-party vendors involved in entire airport activities management, etc. And it could be related to ground operations as well. So these could be some of the skills we could look at in the airlines industry. Talking about manufacturing, it could be defects and warranty handling, RMAs handling, anything related to shop floor management or to inventory management or inventory inquiries, etc. So those would be some of the skills I would look at in manufacturing. And then comes the healthcare. Well, healthcare, of course, there can be multiple areas of expertise, could be radiology, could be orthopedics, etc. It could be related to appointment bookings online, offline, and there could be multiple, types of engagement that can be there. It could be for pharmacy related or a, question or inquiry related to a medicine. Or it could be based on various medical conditions that the frontline workers would handle based on their areas of expertise. So I hope now you could visualize that there can be multiple skills across the industries, and they're unique to the industries that you can help the customers visualize and understand that what they would like to keep it as a base for the unified routing model. All right, so now that we are all on the same page on what are skills, let's understand how do we set up this skills-based routing into Dynamics 365 unified routing. Okay, so now I have logged in as an admin to one of my Dynamics environment, and I have zoomed in my screen so that hopefully it is visible to everybody, keeping accessibility into mind. All right, so now I would navigate to my Customer Service Hub application over here. And in the Customer Service Hub application, I would navigate to Service Management over here. All right, now in the Service Management on the left-hand side, I could see the various features available for unified routing under the unified routing section. Now, in this particular unified routing, let us first set up a rating model. So when I'm setting up skills for the users, I want to know that what kind of proficiency they do have in a particular skill. So for that, in the service management area, in the service management area, we would navigate to user attributes. In user attributes, we can navigate to skills-based routing, and we can click on manage. Now in manage, I will come to this option a little later. Let's focus on rating models. So in rating models, we can see that we can create a new one as well. Plus, there is already a default rating model available for me, which is based on skills. So let's look at that. Let me minimize this for now. All right, so in the default rating model, the minimum rating value is 1 and the maximum rating value is 3. So basically, if what I'm saying is that 1 means I'm familiar with that particular skill, 2 is I'm fairly good with it, and 3 means I'm proficient with it. All right, so these are the 3 rating values that we have given. We can, of course, could create new rating values as well over here. We could click on new. It would ask me the rating value, what rating model I'm using. So I could say 4, and I could say maybe very proficient. if that makes sense. Yeah, and that's how I could create a new one as well. Now, that's about the rating model. Once we have created it, we now have to create some skills around that, right? So this is a recommended way that we created, with minimum rating towards the maximum rating, so that when we are dealing with evaluation, etc., it is easier to understand that higher the value is higher the proficiency. All right, so now to set up the skills, let's go back to service management. Under service management, we have unified routing, user attributes, and under that, previously we went to skills-based routing. Now let's navigate to skills. So in the skills, I can select manage, and then I can see all my skills available for me in the model, right? Now, if you have previous experience on working with field service or project service automation, which is now called as project operations, then you would have worked with resource scheduling, and there you may have worked with characteristics. So Dynamics 365 Unified Routing shares the same entity characteristics with the other applications, and that's what is the power of common data model, right? So we can build up multiple applications having the same common data model. So all right. So basically, what you will set here, it is also available into the other apps, and this is the same entity that you may have been working with since long. So it's a yes. So skills and characteristics you could use interchangeably, but in our context of unified routing, I would call it as skills. Right now, let's open one of them. Right. So these are all my skills, and I'm opening one for coffee makers. So as you know, for CCD, we have a lot of products, and for each product, we have, agents proficient into various products and queries and technicalities related to that. So for coffee makers, we do have, let me change the form here. We do have the, the details. So the first one of them is the name. So you can name your skill. This is the skill type. So by default in the system, you have skills and certification as the skill types. You can also configure a new option set value for the skill type in the backend, and you can create new skill types as well. Now for a particular skill, you could provide some description over here, and once you save it, you can also attach the skills to various users. Now you can see here we have Rene, who is proficient into coffee makers. We have Sarah, who is also proficient into coffee makers, while Kyla and Eugene, they are respectively good and proficient with this particular skill. Now, let me quickly create a new one. So for the new characteristics, let us say it could have been, say, this beans. All right, it is a type of skill for me, and the description is product proficiency for beans, and then I could save it. All right, as soon as I save it, I'll see that the user agents grid is available now, and I could attach new resources with this. So once again, if you're familiar with the resource scheduling concept, you can see here it is bookable resource characteristics. So now let us say Rene is a user into our system. She's also a bookable resource, and she could be booked into various scheduling options, and then she has these characteristics that can be attached. So basically this entity becomes bookable resource characteristic for me, which is an intermediary entity to connect a user and my skill. So here I could search for Rene, and I could give the rating value as, let us say, good. Right? So that's how I could attach a skill to a particular user. Now, in the previous session in the user setup, you must have seen that, for a particular user, we could also, let me go to the user's screen. And There we could set it up as a bookable resource and the bookable characteristics as well. So for Renee, all these characteristics that she possesses is, mentioned over here. So these are her skills, right? So either way, we can set it up and attach it to a user. So now we have defined a rating model for the users. We have defined all the skills that we had, for this particular CCD organization. Let me go back and user attributes, skills, and manage. So these are all the characteristics you can see. We have club membership, we have coffee makers, we have espresso machines also, we have grinders, so on and so forth, right? And you can also see some of them which are, come as sample data by default would be around IT industry. So you can see J2E, JavaScript, etc. So it can vary, organization to organization. Now, once you have created the skills, you have attached it to the users, how we will use that, right? So let's look into that. Now, let's go back to our service management. Under unified routing, I will navigate to work streams. Now, in this work streams, let us look at the CCD record work stream. Now, we covered work streams, how to set up intake rules, how to set up the work stream classification rules, as well as the assignment methods, etc. in one of the previous sessions, right? So what I want to focus now from skills perspective is this work distribution area. If you can see at the bottom of the screens, it says default skill matching algorithm, which is selected to none right now. So what does that mean? Let's understand. Currently, in the skills matching algorithm, you have two options. You can use exact match, or you can use a closest match. Or if you don't want to use any algorithm, you could select none. So this is one of the settings which we will use in the subsequent slides, wherein we'll understand how these two algorithms work and how do they impact the skills evaluation and assignment for the agents for a particular work item, let us say cases in our case, right? So that's the one setting that I want you to keep in mind, how we set and select the skills matching algorithm in the work stream distribution settings. All right. That's on work streams. Now let us go to queues. Right. So in service management area, under unified routing, we can navigate to advanced queues. And in the advanced queues, let us go to CCD high priority entity support queue. All right, so on the top, we can see there are some users, then we have assignment methods, and then we have operating hours. Now, assignment method is where I want to bring your attention to. So let's look at this custom assignment method, and let me edit this. Right, now I'll have a prioritization rule and I'll have an assignment rule set over here. Within the assignment rule set, let us see one of them. So let me choose custom skills. All right, now this assignment rule will decide that what would be the condition that it will match and what skills it attaches and evaluates. So this is order by is the place where the skills are taken into considerations, the agents are identified, ordered in a particular fashion, and then a particular item is assigned to them, right? So here are the options that we can have. It could be round robin, wherein if my agent has the skills, two of them have the same skill score, and then I can, order them, and in the round robin fashion, I will assign the work items to them. The second would be unit-based available capacity, wherein if we have set up agents capacity based on unit level, it will evaluate that, and whoever has the higher capacity, it will assign to that. Similarly, there could be one for profile-based available capacity or proficiency. So we discussed with rating model, how we can define the proficiency, etc. Now, with proficiency, if I have multiple agents having the same skill score, right? Firstly, I will evaluate all the agents based on either all skills or let us say proficiency in only one type of skill. So it could be skills, it could be certification, it could be another type that I could define as language, anything like that, right? So if I want to filter by any particular skill type and I have to check proficiency in only that particular skill, I can use these filters. Otherwise, I will take in consideration all the skills. Let me take a better example, right? So suppose there is a case which is routed to this particular queue, which requires proficiency in coffee maker as well as language as English, right? So now I'm dealing with two skills. So either I can tell my model that find out all the agents who have both of these skills, so it will evaluate for all the skills, or I could have created a skill type as language, assigned different languages to my agents, and then I would say that find all the agents who knows English, and that's how it would evaluate the proficiency into one particular type of skill, right? So that could be one. And then I could also choose most proficient agents and nearest proficient agents as well. So that's where, the agent having more proficiency into particular skills to that particular agent would be matched. Or if the next best or the nearest proficient person would be matched. So this is how the ordering of agents will define that how their skills are evaluated and how a particular item would be matched to them. The next one is skill count. So if I have two skills that are needed in a particular case, so it will take into consideration all those skills. It will take the skill counts for a particular agent. Whoever has the higher skills count, that person would be preferred first for the assignment, right? So that's how we can do the skill count scores as well. And if we would like, we could have, filtered it by the skills type. So that's how the assignment rules, especially the order by parameter, impact the how the skills are taken into consideration. So that's why I wanted you to understand the assignment rules in the context of skills-based routing. All right. So now, once again, we have set up the rating model. We have set up the skills and configured them and attached to our users. Then in the work stream, we have chosen our skills matching algorithm, whether it is exact or a closest match. And similarly, in the queues, we have defined the order by criteria for our agents when their skills are being evaluated. All right, keep this in mind. We'll work with some examples in a while. Now, on this, the model has determined so far that what skills are required for a particular case. Maybe it is based on a pre-chat on the on the portal with the help of live chat widget, or it is based on the manual classification rules that we may have defined. For example, if case description has keyword like urgent, you set the priority as high, etc. So these are the skills that we have defined so far. But over the years, the agents who are working in Eugene's team, they have certain set of experience and certain skills that we could leverage, right? So whatever system is assigning the skills, ultimately it's a learning curve for the system as well and for the administrator who is setting and configuring this. So that is where we could leverage our agents' experience and allow them to update the skills that are being attached to the case as well. Now, how do we do that? So in order to do that, let me once go back to our service management. In the user attributes, in skills-based routing, we click on manage, and you can see this particular option that I had previously parked, right? So this says that enable update skills control, and this toggle has to be yes if we want our agents to update the skills that are being matched by the system. All right. Now, once you enable that, where do the agents see what skills have been assigned, right? So now let me navigate to service area. Within the service area under service section, I have my cases, right? So let me go back to my cases. And in the active cases, I will open this particular case, which is 34. My coffee maker has stopped working. All right. In this particular case, I can go to skills area and I can see that the system has matched 77% coffee makers skill over here with 77% confidence. And we can see that I could add more skills. So as an agent, I could actually remove it also. And if I would like to add, say, espresso machines over here, I could add it as a new skill, right? Now, this is more significant when we are using intelligent skill finder, right? And that model. And with the machine learning algorithms, my system and my algorithms have determined certain skills for this particular case. But then agents, keep tagging the more appropriate skills over here, and then we can retrain our machine learning model. And that's when the model keeps on getting more and more robust to evaluate the skills, right? So it is very important that our agents should be able to contribute based on their experience, right? So now, how do we do that? And how do we bring this control up and light it up in the form, right? So for the messaging, digital messaging, it is automatically available. But for the record routings, what you can do, you can go back to your settings, you could go to customization of your solution, and when you open the solution, you could navigate to cases, forms, and you could go to case for interactive experience. So we have to add that particular control into a multi-session form, right? Multi-session app form. So you need to go to case for interactive experience. Within the case for interactive experience, you can so it'll open the entire form for you, and you could go to a tab for skills, or you can create one and add one single line text field over here, which in my case, I have added as skills control. Now in this skills control, I'm sorry. So select the field, and in the skills control, I want to add that particular control. And if you click over here, add control, it will give you a list of all the controls from which you need to select this particular control, which is CC underscore OC routed ENT related records control. And when you add this particular control, save it and publish it, you will be basically able to get this particular control into your forms. All right, so this way you can leverage your agent's experience to help you train the model to make it learn more and more. All right, now what is the difference between the manually the classification that we are doing and the intelligence skills finder, right? So here you see that while we had set up the work stream, we have to define our classification rules, and it may increase in number, right? So right now I have it based on case priority, sentiment analysis, estimated efforts, etc. And there can be many more, right? So to save that of effort, right? While manually we don't need to take that decision and define the rules, we can use the machine learning algorithms to define the skills, and that's where the intelligence skills finder comes handy. And we will see more details about ISF or intelligence skills finder model in the subsequent session. All right, so that is the difference between the skills based routing using logical rules that we define here. So by logical rules, I mean the simple conditions that we have set up here, that when to set high priority, when to set medium priority and low priority, etc., based on the simple wizard of matching conditions, right? So that's how. Once again, the system is quite robust to handle combination of various criteria, various rules and rule sets. Okay, so that is something very important, and that's what makes it a quite robust solution for us. All right, so now we have understood how to set it up, how the the parameters in workstream and queues impact the entire skills evaluation, and how my agents could contribute to it as well. All right, now let's go back to our presentation for a minute. All right, so after the demo on skills-based routing, let's get back to our skills models in Dynamics 365 Unified Routing. We just saw how to do manual skills-based routing setup, right? Now, there are three models in which you could set this entire model. The first one is manual skills. The second one is bring your own skills entity, right? That is BYOSE, which is where we use custom match rules. So I'll just explain in a minute what it is. And the third one is the intelligence skills finder. So what we are trying to do here is to relax the requirement or need for the users to define the work classification rules themselves and make it more and more easier for them as the skills model gets complicated, and there are a lot of combinations etc are coming in, but still it is low code, it is configurable, and we are not using any flows or workflows etc over here. All right, so let's dive into BYOSE. All right, and how do we use a custom matching rules? Now, how great it would be that I don't need to decide that if a particular description field contains a particular field, this should be the high priority, right? In addition to that, so in addition to normal skills, I get a custom skill kind of scenario with a customer. Okay, let us take an example. In the banking industry, right? In banks, we often have relationship managers with the customers. And it so happens that whenever a customer has any query or they do have any concerns, it is ideal and it is preferable for them to go back to the relationship agent as well. So that becomes a skills for a particular agent that for a customer X. This is the relationship manager and these people should handle all their queries, right? So now what it essentially means is that whenever a query is coming from customer X, it should be routed to agent A, right? So this is a custom skill for us, right? A relationship management skill. So how do we go about it? Let's look at that into the system. All right. Okay, so I'm back into my Dynamics 365 instance, customer service hub, and in the service management area and unified routing, I have navigated to my skills. Under user attributes, we select skills, we select manage, and we reach the entire list of skills that we have. Under that skill, I have relationship manager to Ellison. So Ellison happens to be one of our customers, Ellison Brown, and here's the relationship manager skill for that. Now allow me to change the form which I had created for this specific purpose. Now what is happening is I have added a field to this particular form, that is the characteristics entity. I have added a field preferred by customer, and I have created the skills relationship manager to Alison Brown, and the customer is associated with this particular skill as Alison Brown. All right, so what's so unique about that, right? The unique thing is that I have added two agents, Renee and Kyla, who can now be the preferred agents to serve Ellison Brown queries. So I have attached the skills to two users. Now within the work stream, what will happen? Let me go to the work stream, BYOSE work stream in CCD. And here you will see that I have the intake rules. So I have a very simple intake rule over here. If my case title contains BYOSE, it would be intake by this particular work stream. Once it is captured, you see, I did not need to create any work classification rules over here because it is not a skill that I am tagging, right? It is an attribute matching that I am trying to do. So if my agent's skill is relationship manager to Alison Brown, and Alison Brown happens to be the customer on my case, I'm basically matching the two attributes, and I don't need to write additional classification rules to tag a particular case and then do the classification, evaluate the agent. I'm simply saving a couple of steps with the attribute matching. All right, so we'll see about that, how it is set up. So once the case lands into this particular work stream with the help of intake rule, it will basically find the rule to route to which queue, and it is basically going to be routed to one of my queues over here. Let's look at that queue. Actually, I have it open here. So in the advanced queues, I have another queue created for the same purpose of bring your own skills entity. And in this queue for USA, I have these two users, Renee and Kyla, and I have the assignment method. Now in this assignment method, I have already walked you through how assignment methods and the order by parameter impacts the skills evaluation. If I added this particular assignment rule, there's no prioritization either as of at this point, but there is an assignment rule. And in this assignment rule is where all the condition lies, right? So there's a rule set. There could have been multiple rules, and that's why I have, navigated till this point. Now you see, so here is the custom matching rule criteria. What I did, I simply wrote a logic that if the user skills and have a custom match on the field of preferred customer, which contains the same customer as the case that has been routed to this particular queue, right? So in simpler terms, if the case customer matches the user skills preferred customer, then that's it. Then find that user, take into consideration your skills matching algorithm, and then assign the particular case to that particular user. Okay, so now hope you understood that I did not have to write any work classifications. Rather, I could use attribute matching in assignment rules and could achieve a custom match for the skill as well. All right. So whenever you find a scenario where this is something, a combination of multiple parameters and you have to come up with a custom skills, that is also possible into the system. Let's do a small testing for this. All right. So let's create a new case. Once I create a new case, let me call it as E11. All right. And the customer should be Alison Brown. I want to save and route this particular case. Yes, so now it has gone for routing, and let's go to service management, to unified routing, diagnostics. Under the diagnostic, this case has come into consideration for routing. Now let me minimize it so that we can see the routing in action. And here for all the supervisors, etc., this is one single view of how your cases are being routed, how your rules are functioning, etc. And you can have a quick view. And you can see that this case for BYOSE has been assigned to Kyla, which is based on a custom skills attribute matching, right? So that's how the custom skills work. All right, so now let's get back here. So we understood that the how the manual skills based routing works, how the custom matching rules works, and we will subsequently see how the intelligent skills finder model works. Now, so we have covered this as well. Now let's get into the skills matching algorithms that we touched upon previously for exact skills match, as well as the closest skill match. And we just saw how to do the custom skills match as well, right? So to understand that, we will take some examples into consideration. Now, let us, revise a case journey so far that we have had. From various channels, right? Our customer Claudia has reached us via, say, email, and it has landed into CCD record workstream where all the skills have been attached, sentiment analysis, effort estimation has been done, and now this case has landed into CCD high priority queue. In this particular queue, prioritization rules have been applied to it, capacity has been evaluated, and now the the skills matching algorithm is being selected. So I'm trying to find out an agent at this point that whom should this case will go to, right? So this is the point that I am in the case journey. Now let's talk about exact skill matching. So let me introduce the agents to you. Right, so at the Contoso commercial division in CCD high priority queue, this case has landed, wherein I have 4 users. The first one is Gabriel Diaz. By seniority, he is a senior person. He has the skills for coffee maker as a product, Smart Brew 300 as a product, club membership, refunds, etc. And his capacity currently stands at 40 units. Then comes Sarah Patel. We have met her previously, right? So by seniority, she is at the intermediate level right now. Her skills are coffee maker and Smart Brew 300 as well. She also handles club membership. Additionally, she handles shipment as well. So her capacity stands at 30. Then comes Renee. So Renee is also an intermediate level of customer success agent. She deals into beans as a product, espresso machines, as well as rewards. Her capacity is low at this point. She's quite busy and it stands at 20. And then comes Kyle. Kyle, by seniority, has just joined. He is a junior in the team right now. He's looking into grinders as well as order inquiries, as he mentioned before, and his capacity stands at 50. All right, so let's get back. All right, so now let us take an example where, say, in a particular case, the skills required is grinders, and the order by is defined as skills count, and all the skills are taken into consideration. So this is where in the assignment rules in queue, we have defined the order by parameter. And then the skills matching method is considered as exact match. Now, according to this example, only Kyle deals into grinders, and hence Kyle should be taken into consideration. So let's see our skills matching algorithm assigns the case to whom. That's right. It goes to Kyle. Why? Because the exact skills are matched with a particular user, right? So we needed grinders and Kyle deals with grinders. So that's simple enough, right? Let's take the second example. Now here we require the skills for coffee makers and the order by is still skill counts for all the skills for exact skills match rule, right? Now this time Gabriel deals with coffee maker, even Sarah deals with coffee maker, right? While Renee and Kyle do not. So ideally Gabriel and Sarah should be taken into consideration with these skills matching. Let's see who the case is assigned to. It gets assigned to Gabriel. Why? Because exact skills match orders the agents by highest available capacity by default. If the admin wants, this default could be changed to round robin, but by default it is set by highest available capacity. Now in the example, you can see that both Gabriel and Sarah had the skills for coffee maker. However, Gabriel had more capacity at this point at 40, while Sarah had it at 30. And that's why Gabriel was prioritized by the algorithm. All right, now let's go forward. This is another example for exact skills match. Now here we have multiple skills attached with a particular case. So now I would need a agent who knows coffee makers and whose proficiency is 2 or good into coffee makers, right? Similarly, I need club membership skill with the agent, and the proficiency should be high, right? And the agent should be proficient into that, or it should have a score of 3, right? The order by is set to proficiency for all the skills, and we need to find out the most proficient agent. All right, so this is the entire setup in the assignment rule that we have done for order by. Now let's see who deals with coffee makers as well as club membership. So here you can see I have now indicated for Gabriel and Sarah, we have coffee makers, we have club membership. The coffee maker proficiency is 2 with Gabriel, club membership is 3. Similarly for Sarah, we have 1 in coffee maker. She's a little less proficient than Gabriel in coffee maker. And then we have club membership at 3 for both of them, right? While Renee and Kyle again do not deal with both of these skills. Right. So once again, Gabriel and Sarah should be considered for, for the assignment of the case. Now let's see what happens. Well, the case again goes to Gabriel. Why? Because Gabriel had the exact match of the skills. So coffee makers 2 and club membership 3, while Sarah had coffee makers 1. So accordingly, Gabriel was prioritized. So the learning is that exact skills matching calculates score for each of the skill and then normalize it, right? So it did evaluate and took into consideration both of the skills, the scores around that, then normalized the total score, and then it took the decision that whom should it go to. All right, now let's move forward. Once again, this is a similar example where we needed coffee makers at 2, club membership at 3, and the proficiency skills, but this time we are looking for most proficient person. Okay. Once again, Gabriel and Sarah are the potential agents who can get this particular case. However, there is some change now, right? I'll show you the change. So basically, this time Gabriel has coffee maker at 2, club membership at 3, and Sarah has coffee maker at 4 and club membership at 4. So this time Sarah has better skills. Now what happens? This time Sarah is prioritized. Why Sarah is prioritized, right? Because Gabriel also had skills matching, the exact skills matching. So the learning is one, that exact skills matching consider skill score greater than or equal to the required skills. So because Sarah did not have exact match, but she had even higher qualities to solve that particular case. So she was overqualified rather, and that's how she was considered into the algorithm equally. Now, what happened is, remember the previous learning that it by default, arranges the agents in the fashion of higher capacity. And now you see here that Sarah actually had the capacity of 60 available, while Gabriel had 40. Correct. So that's why Sarah was chosen over here. All right, let's move forward. This time, we have similar skills, coffee makers 2, club membership 3, and the order by proficiency for all the skills. However, this time we need nearest proficient person, right? This time what happens? This time, let us see. I'm sorry about that. So this time you see it was not assigned to both Gabriel and Sarah, while both of them were taken into consideration, but the case remained unassigned. Why so? Well, coffee maker for Gabriel was 1, which is lower than the exact match that was required at 2. Same goes for club membership. It was 1 for Gabriel this time, and for the case it required 3. A similar story for Sarah as well. Coffee maker was also 1 and club membership was also 1. So although they had the skills, but none of them was an exact match or a higher match rather, and that's why the case remained unassigned. So the learning is that exact skills matching requires a must match for the exact or overqualified resource. Otherwise, it remains unassigned within the queue until the match is found. So it will keep retrying to find an agent, and until that match is found, the exact match case would remain unassigned to the queue. All right, so this again makes sure that if a particular case is important to be served by an agent with particular skills, it will be assigned to the right resource only, right? So that's what was the learning from this particular example. So that was all about the exact matching rule. Some of the learnings were that it does take into account equal or greater than the required proficiency. It does, arranges the agents list by highest capacity by default, and it does require a exact match. Otherwise, it remains unassigned and it keeps on trying until the match is found, right? So these are the 3 important ones. Now let's talk about the closest skill match, right? Now here I wouldn't look for an exact match. So see how it works. Now let's take our example again. This time I do require coffee maker skill with proficiency of 2. I do require my club membership with proficiency of 3. I am looking for ordering by my agents by proficiency for the skill type only product this time, right? So remember, I told you that we can choose a filter of the skill type to order the agents. So this time it will only order the agents based on the product skill type, that is coffee makers, right? And we will find the most proficient person. Okay, so that is the assignment rule now. And the skills matching method has been defined as closest match in the work stream. So let's look at the agents. Now Gabriel has coffee maker for 2, club membership for 3. Nice. Sarah has coffee maker for 1 and club membership for 1, but still running into the race to get the case. And Rainey also has coffee maker now with a good score of 3, but she doesn't deal into club membership, right? So now what should happen? For the closest match, all 3, Gabriel, Sarah, and Renee would be taken into consideration because they have either one skill or all the skills available with them. So that is the criteria of gradual relaxation of constraints, right? So it will try and find the best match, then the next best match, then the next best match, so on and so forth. All right. So let's see who wins this time. It does go to Gabriel. So what happens is the closest skills match orders the agent as exact match, then the overqualified agent, then the underqualified agent, and then the agents which are not qualified. So ideally, even Kyle would have been into the considerations if none of the agents were available and none of the skills would have matched. It might have gone to Kyle as well, right? So that's how the closest skills match work. It first looks for exact match, then overqualified, then underqualified, and then probably not with all the skills. So Gabriel over here had the exact match of coffee maker as 2 and club membership as 3. And that's why Gabriel got the case, right? And the last one, once again on the closest skill match, what we have here is the same requirements for the skills for coffee makers for 2, club membership as 3. We want to order by the proficiency with the skills type of only product and the product proficiency. So in the previous example also, it only took into consideration, to order the agents for the skills type, which is product for coffee maker, right? Okay, so now this time, what is different? Once again, all of them have this coffee makers skill. Two of them has club membership as well. The final score would be calculated. They would be ordered by a particular skill type, which is product, that is coffee maker. And we'll see how the closest match performs this time. It did go to Gabriel, right? So now what happens is that although we had combinations available to us for exact match, for Rene and for Gabriel as well, we see that even Rene has coffee maker at 2 and Gabriel also had coffee maker at 2. So what will happen is when the agents are qualified and they are ordered by the criteria that we have selected for the coffee maker, both of them could have been selected. However, the system continued to select Gabriel. Why? Because in closest skill matching, agents are not ordered by highest capacity or round robin. So you see, Gabriel had capacity of 40, Rene had capacity of 20. However, what the system does is it will not take into consideration the capacity and round robin to order the agents. Rather, it will keep on assigning it to the previous agent. So previously it assigned to Gabriel, it is still assigning to Gabriel until the other parameters would change. For example, say Gabriel was away, he was not available, or his capacities, reached the threshold, etc. So until those external factors or the other parameters kicks in, the system keeps on assigning it to the previous agent because they are not ordered by highest capacity or round robin, etc. So that was one of the logics, how the closest skills match works. Now, so far, we have seen the examples in exact match and the closest skills match, only considering that there was skills was the only parameter that was working behind it, right? It is not that simple. So ideally, many more parameters would be taken into consideration. And this is how the full-blown routing would have looked like, right? So let us take a scenario where is Wood Groove Bank, which is a premium account for CCD. They have raised a case and the customer is Alison Brown for us. The customer account is Wood Groove Bank. The case title is that they want to inquire for coffee club membership, and they have sent an email on that saying, "Hi, I work at so and so bank. I'm quite excited about the coffee club membership at CCD. Can you please help me understand associated rewards and payment mode? Please help." So what will happen is, after the case is created, the case is classified. It will say that case category is premium, priority is high, support center is USA, and skills identified as rewards and payments. The intelligent skills model would understand that although the rewards and payments are the keywords, they're actually looking for rewards, coffee makers, and club membership. It would be then routed to CCD high priority support queue. After that, the intelligent assignment rules would have kicked in, and it would, say that highest priority is based on high and premium. They want the assignment rule to be picked up for premium assignment rules. And the assignment route actually says that we need to work on closest match and presence, etc. Right? And then finally, it would have taken into consideration who are the agents who have the required skills, and then which one of them, are ordered by in which order, and then who is available at this particular time. And you see that although this time, Sarah and Gabriel have exact similar skills for coffee maker and club membership at 2-3 and 2-3 respectively. However, Sarah is busy at this moment while Gabriel is available. So if you remember, it takes into account the skills, availability, capacity, inbuilt intelligence on skill scores, etc. Right? So that's how the full-blown routing would have worked in addition to the skills. All right, so it was a long day for Eugene and her team, and the key takeaways from the meeting were that traditional queue-based routing solutions do not scale up to the needs of delivering personalized customer service for enterprises with diverse product lines and a global customer base. It becomes difficult for them to maintain their customer satisfaction scores while dealing with internal operational issues for queue handling, for agent assignments, and maintaining SLAs, etc. Now, with this skills-based routing, customer service managers can consolidate queues to minimum supervision. The work items are assigned to the agents belonging to the same queue based on their skills and proficiency. And agents also benefit because they work on issues that are, that they're skilled at resolving, and therefore they are um, more productive and they have higher engagement as well. And in the end, Kyle was happy as well because the payments and refunds kind of issues were not coming to him, and he could focus better on the queries regarding orders and grinders, etc. So he was happy as well. The efficiency of such a system depends upon how well the skill needs to fulfill the incoming service requests and how these skills are identified. And to address this, Dynamics 365 Unified Routing has the capability for Intelligent Skills Finder, using which machine learning model can be created or predicted the skills required to fulfill the incoming work item requirements, or one could create manual declarative classification rules to identify and attach the skills. So that's what we saw in the demos. And the team understood that how the unified routing could help with their concerns, and it could basically result in increased first contact resolution, increased customer satisfaction and loyalty, increased SLA compliance, increased service level for their team, increased agent satisfaction and productivity at the same time, decrease in agent handling time. They could minimize overhead in queue maintenance and decrease in total operating cost as well. So it was quite a productive meeting, and they could solve for all the solutions, of course, with Dynamics 365 unified routing. So with that, Eugene and myself are signing off for the day, and you would be having a hands-on lab on these concepts, and feel free to ask any questions, put it in the chat, and hopefully you would enjoy, and stay tuned for the next subsequent sessions. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.